Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We can't stop talking about our league and we must talk about our clubs because it is our own. As is said in Nigeria, now our own, and we go talk about them. And that is it. Let's look at this story. We looked at the MPFL games for March day 15. We saw fantastic results. We saw the video of Rangers and Enyimba of Aba in that duel where he ended 1-1 in that context. And we saw some other fantastic results. Remo Stars going back to the top of the table. I think we've seen massive improvement in the Nigerian Premier Football League. But let's quickly look at this particular story where one team, they are happy right now. You know, when you are not at your own natural ground, there's this feeling that you don't really you don't really have this feeling, okay, I'm safe where I am. But right now I think they will be safe from in March day 16. I think from March day 16 they should be back to that stadium. As it stands, Rangers have been given the go-ahead to go back to the Cathedral, that is the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. They've been playing all their matches at the that is at the Oka Township Stadium in Anambra State, that is in Onitsha, where they adopted as their home. But right now, after a walk on that particular pitch, now the MPFL has given them the go-ahead to go back to that stadium. You can see how the stadium is looking lush and green, refurbished, and it has been brought up to the MPFL Nigerian Premier Football League standard. And for Rangers International, like I said, March day 15 action should be going down in that stadium. And I have Abba Michael joining me again on the show this evening. Abba Michael, welcome to the show. For Rangers International, I think it's a good news for them going back to the Cathedral.
Yes, definitely. It's going by historic turf. It's a good thing that the turf has been, and even the fan stand has been renovated. It has been given a face. I think it has been rebranded. That is a historical for the flying hopes, and I think it's an opportunity for them to fly again, even though they're flying thus far as far as the season. And it's a big one for Enugu Rangers. As now they have the footage of the home turf, and expect a better outing because most of their fans, the Reds will now turn up to give him the backing, the support that they need to take down teams. And it's a huge respite for the Enugu team, and it's good for Nigeria.
Yes, it's good for Nigerian football because we need to have a lot of, if you want to host any international competition, you need all your stadium to be in order, and we need more of this stadium. We need more of it in the country. If you look at what happened to us during the bidding for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations and that of 2025, after looking at facilities in Nigeria, we were not really given the chance to host. Now, Kenya will co-host with Uganda and Tanzania. Okay, let's leave that story and talk about this. This story, it concerns the only Nigerian team in the continent, that is Rivers United, where Sterling Eguma, the coach of Rivers United, is optimistic that they are going to qualify from Group C after the loss to Club Africain of Tunisia 3-0 in the return leg of their match day 4 encounter. Now, in that group, they've won 2 games and lost 2 games. For Club Africain, they now have 9 points after 4 games. They won 3 and they lost 1, and that one they lost was here at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, where Rivers United beat them 1-0 in match day 3 of the Confederations Cup, that is CAF Confederations Cup 2023. But when man is talking, that is the coach of Rivers United, he is optimistic, he is full of hopes that Rivers United will qualify to the morning spinning stage of the CAF competition.
Yes, I mean, we see them qualifying for spinning group stage regularly. It happens, and even to the group stage after the first and they are out. I mean, gone are the days when we had the Enyimba that went back to back. I mean, despite the star power of the ice the TP Mazembe, the Esperance of Tunisia, 2018-2019 edition. As United, perhaps we may probably give us a glimmer of hope, knowing that the other Eyimba, Remo Stars, Insurance, they've all disappointed this season so far. Then we are hoping that United would have been the team to give Nigeria some bragging rights. But it just shows that the African and the Nigerian football clubs need to do more. The investment in the club is not really enough to compete with those Sahel and those big names, big clubs. 11-time champions are highly. If Nigerian clubs to get to that level, a whole lot of work, a whole lot of organization. I think they need to study what aimed by 2004, so that we can have at least a Nigerian team that can make a run, not just to get to the group stage, but all.
Okay, not just to the group stage, but they should go all the way and actually win win the competition. The last time out, a team got to the finals of the CAF Confederations Cup was Rivers, this same team, but then they were called Sharks of Port Harcourt. That was in 2006. But as it stands, let's see how Rivers United will progress from that group and qualify. They have 6 points. Dreams FC also have 6 points with APC Lobito of Angola occupying the bottom part of that group. But for Club African, they now have 9 points, going back to the summit of Group C with maximum 9 points. Out of 4 games, they've won 3 and they've lost 1. All right, let's leave that story and quickly look at this. It is going to be happening tonight in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, precisely. The big ones, now Saudi Arabia is now becoming the hub, the center of hosting a lot of sporting events, most especially the boxing story, bout to bout. But this time around, we're going to talk about the round leather game. Now, for the FIFA Club World Cup final tonight, Guardiola eyes that trophy. He won it with when he was with Barcelona, but this time around, now he's going to win it. He's looking to win it with Manchester City. City, for the first time, they won their European trophy, that UEFA Champions League last season. And now they are in the FIFA Club World Cup final, where Guardiola will have his team, will have the handful against Fluminense of Brazil, where we have a perennial Champions League winner with them, that is Marcelo, who has won it with Real Madrid. He's with Fluminense with that experience. And they also, let's not forget that Manchester City also have Kovacic to their side. Kovacic has also won the FIFA Club World Cup with Real Madrid. So tonight, what do you think about this particular game, Michael? Guardiola against Fluminense?
Yeah, Fluminense is not a team that you over. Let's not forget that Vinicius Jr. also came from that team, if I'm not mistaken, 5 years ago. Fluminense are those Brazilian teams that supplies lots and lots of star players to Europe, and they are not to be underrated. Brazil plays a brand of football, and Manchester City has had a purple pattern thus far. Kevin De Bruyne is not to marshal midfield as a maestro. Mahrez, who had, I think, 9 goals for Man City, is now in Saudi. And of course, Ike, who did very well too for Man City. All these top players are not playing currently. Guardiola has had an up and down season, drawing games that have won and then losing games that they should have. They cannot afford to lose a step against Fluminense, because these Brazilian teams can just surprise Manchester. As it is, any of these two teams can win the Club World Cup finals. I cannot earn my money on Manchester City because of inconsistency that they've shown so far. But then Man City should find a way to grind out narrow victory, even if it's by goal. have to find a way, minimize errors to the barest minimum to be able to secure the entry for Guardiola so that he can have another club and cement his name as a top 2 or top 3 greatest coaches of.
Okay, now if you look at Fluminense, like I mentioned, we have the ageless Marcelo, who left Real Madrid for Fluminense. Do you think his experience is going to count against Manchester City tonight? He has faced this same team in the Champions League when the last Champions League he won with Real Madrid before leaving.
Definitely, he is definitely the voice of the dressing room. Let's not forget that he was the best back in the world for many years. And, aside from Roberto Carlos, he's arguably the greatest left back who ever lived, at least in the last 30 years. And so he is then going to give the team the charge they need. And I think he's the major reason they are in the Club World Cup final. The major reason why the team is doing well. He's definitely carrying that team on his shoulders. Marcelo is an ageless player, and Fluminense got him at the right time. As he may just do it all for Fluminense. But then, that are English football fans, of course, we want the Club World Cup to come to England because it doesn't come often. So we would like the Club World Cup come back to England.
Okay, we like the Club World Cup will come back to England. Okay, let's leave that story. There are some fixtures lined up in the top 5 European leagues, but not all the 5 leagues will be in action tonight. But we have games in the EPL and we have games in La Liga. Let's look at fixtures tonight also in these 2 leagues, in the EPL English Premier League and that of La Liga. Let's have the fixtures for tonight. We have Aston Villa, who will be at Villa Park to play Sheffield United, and Empoli, that is Aston Villa against Sheffield United is in the EPL, and then in the Italian Serie A, we have 4 games: Empoli against Lazio, we have Sassuolo against Genoa, we have Monza, who will take on, who will be at home to take on Fiorentina, and AC Milan will travel to the bottom team, Salernitana, in the Italian Serie A. So these are the games that are lined up for tonight in the top 2 European League, in the in EPL and La Liga. All right. Let's leave these fixtures quickly. Michael, I would just allow you to react to this before we talk about the last story on the show. Now, I saw this story and I was moved. This is a sport that if we have somebody who is doing well in the sport, why not we pay attention to this young man? Hamid, at least look at the story. Nigerian Hamid Yusuf seeks support to feature in 2026 Winter Olympics after he got that qualification. And when we say Buxley sport is a sport that it's you are very fast on a baked, should I say baked ice. You can, as you can see on the screen, this sport is actually run on the ice, very baked one, and narrow tracks are created for it. And we have a man, Hamid Yusuf, who is doing so well in the sport. Now he's seeking for support to participate in the 2026 Winter Olympics. Abba Michael, I don't know. What do you think of this for this young man? Is he supposed to seek for support? Rather, I think people should be, the Ministry of Sports should be going out to support this man before him even coming out to ask for support.
I mean, it's a shame. It's only nice things like this happening. I mean, imagine is another country. He will be supported, but he will be giving of his life. I mean, look at Novak Djokovic, for instance. He dare not breathe that he's going to any form of competition. You massive support around him. And Nigerians are supposed to take him as a small, because it's rare and dominating a sport this much. It's an opportunity for us to our own. We only do average or team sports, but the individuals. One time, Anthony Joshua was shining the light, even though it's for break, and then suddenly the light dimmed. So Israel at this time, even though it's for, I think, New Zealand or Israel, and then suddenly the light is dimming and getting brighter and dimming at the same time. Have somebody who wants to represent the country of 200 million population, expect Eno, the star. I expect the national mission. I expect the minister for. I expect a House Committee on Sport, Senate Committee on Sports to all rise and give him the support, give him all the empowerment he needs so that he can, be the nation. We want to see a Nigerian Toby Amusan. We want to see another Nigerian dominate the winter sports.
Yes, we want.
It's a shame that he should even be looking for support.
Yes, it's a shame that he should be looking for support in the first place. Okay, let's go over to the game you love so much, the NBA, the biggest franchise in the world. Let me say in the world and the United States of America. There were games last night, late last night in the NBA and the earlier. Let's look at the scores and then the teams. Utah Jazz whooped Detroit Pistons by 9 points, 119 to 111. It ended. New Orleans Pelicans beat Cleveland Cavaliers 123 to 104, and San Antonio Spurs scored 95 points to Chicago Bulls 114 points. And then the Indiana Pacers and Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies had to trash the Indiana Pacers 116 to 103 points, and Orlando Magic against Milwaukee Bucks. It was just 4 points difference between Orlando Magic and Milwaukee. It was 114 points for Orlando Magic and 118 for Milwaukee Bucks. And then for LA Clippers, 115 points to Oklahoma City Thunder, 134 points. A far margin between those two teams, almost 15 points gap. And the LA Lakers with Minnesota Timberwolves, it was 118 points for LA Lakers, and then 111 points for LA Lakers, and 118 points for Minnesota Timberwolves. It's just 8 points difference between the two of them. And Washington Wizards had to leave it late against the Portland Trail Blazers, 118 points to 117 points for Portland Trail Blazers. Washington Wizards winning that game with just a point. Fantastic games in the NBA.
Yes, let me start Timberwolves. They have been of the NBA this season. They are looking at barely makes the playoffs in the last 5 years. But this season they have shown that truly they possess 2 number 1 picks. Carl Anthony Towns was the number 115. He has obviously risen to the realities. And then Anthony Edwards, 2020 number 1 pick. So these 2 players have been the firepower needed for the Minnesota team. That's why they are the top team in the conference at the moment. Happy for Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis, the world player, has been wrestled from his hand by Jokic of Denver Nuggets. The last performance in the last 4 matches, has shown that Adetokunbo of Nigeria and is still the best player in the world. He has shown he should never have been taken from him in the first place. The Damian Lillard has made his performance. We saw Damian Lillard score 40 points in the last game. And then Chicago Bulls too have really been doing well. Nigeria and there, Dosumu, fantastic for the Chicago. Then Kobe White, the man with the taking that team to another level, drops at least 5 3-pointers per game, giving that team the needed boost. Big wins against big table toppers. We're really surprised. And then Oklahoma City Thunder. My Chet Holmgren is no doubt key of the year. He has shown if he had played last season because he was out as a rookie, he would have told Paolo Banchero of Orlando Magic the rookie of the year. The Boston Celtics to me still remains the favorite of. They are the best team in the NBA. Having the best small league, talking about Jason Tatum, who's averaging 28, And of course, the second shooting guard in the league, Jalen Brown. Celtics are actually the team to watch out for. We've seen Los Angeles Clippers coming with firepower, James Harden or John Leonard, all three phenomenal in the last couple of games. They are the biggest threat in the Western Conference. Like I said, if you allow me to talk about the NBA 30 minutes, I have not stopped. I know so much about the NBA.
All right, I know
But
you love
the
the
NBA is
NBA
in
so
good
much.
hands right now.
Okay,
The
I
tournament is
think
over. Lakers won the.
okay, Lakers won the in-season tournament, but I just want to take you on this just in 2 seconds. For Boston Celtics, this season, they are the best team so far. But do you think they have they can hold this momentum at the end of the day, be crowned champions of the likes of Jason Tatum and the rest of them in that team? Can they really hold this momentum and become the champions of NBA for 2023-2024 season?
Yes, because of the Kristaps Porzingis from Washington to Boston Celtics. All the presence of a big man in the middle has been what they have been lacking the last 2 seasons. That's why they'll get to the finals and get beaten. The addition of Kristaps Porzingis, they have now. They have the players who can drive in, Pritchard who can shoot, and the White, who is the point guard who can distribute. The team is complete at the moment, and that's why the number one team in the NBA right now.
Okay, that is why they are number one team in the NBA right now. Let's quickly look at that result. There is a particular result I'm concerned about. Let's look at this game between Washington Wizards and Portland Trail Blazers. I followed that game keenly, and at the end of the day, at some point, I thought in the first half of that game, I thought Portland Trail Blazers will just carry the day, but at the end of the day, Washington Wizards turned the game on their head from the third quarter. That is in the last round of that game. From the third quarter, things like we used to say in Nigeria, power changed hand, and at the end, it ended. I think both sides, it was you score, I score. At the end, it ended 118 points for Washington Wizards and 117 for Portland Trail Blazers.
Yes, teams are actually bottom teams in the NBA. The Washington Wizards bottom teams for the East, while the Trailblazers are also bottom for the West. Blazers lost their best player in Damian Lillard, even though they acquired the number 3 pick in the. But then the defense is still showing its ugly head. The point guard holding that Trailblazers right now, his experience is just his second season in the NBA. Even though they have a new player, there's these twins that just came into the league. The small forward is also for the play for the Trailblazers. But then they repealed because they've lost their best player. Washington Wizards too also lost a player, Porzingis, to the Boston Celtics. Teams are actually rebuilding at the moment. You see them inconsistently giving win today, they lose tomorrow. They are not in contention for the playoffs of those teams.
Yes, both of those teams, like you said, they are not in contention for the playoffs, but the likes of Boston Celtic, Phoenix Suns, and co, they are in contentions for the playoffs. Let's see how the playoffs will look like. Let's see the teams that will make it through, and let's see the team that is going to carry the day. All right, on that note, we'll come to the end of Sports Update on Trust TV. Michael, thanks for joining me on the show this evening. All right, that is it on Sports Update.
You
I
should
am
also
Emmanuel
be
Fashimi.
shortlisted
Thanks for
for
watching.
this award.